Only weak people need validation.
Mm-hmm.
Only weak people seek praise.
Right.
Only the weak, because they have such low egos. As Emerson, Lake and Palmer says, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. I'm Jim Ellermeyer. I'm a behavioral health therapist, and welcome back to the show that never ends, or hopefully will never end, Fishing Without Bait, a mindfulness-based recovery show, a podcast that talks about getting how people got here from there. Talk about steps of recovery. We're looking for people who want to not find themselves, but create themselves. We're trying to help people understand about living life in the present through full impact mindfulness. If you have the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to try, welcome aboard. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, co-host, and producer of this program, Mr. Mike.
Always good to be here, Jim. And another reference I'm going to have to Google later.
So, the reference to...
Oh, at the beginning there.
Oh, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer song?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure as soon as I hear it, I'll recognize it.
I think you will too. But, what we talk about is when we talk about one of the most common presentation that people come to therapy with, it's anxiety. And anxiety is generally accompanied by racing thoughts. Mike, have you ever had racing thoughts? Have you ever?
I might have them right now, Jim. Okay. It's always running. For me, going into a big production weekend, it's literally, I'm going over it over and over again in my head, which may be a good thing and a reason why I do so well with it, but also is not comfortable in the meantime.
Well, anxiety lives in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot exist in the present.
Absolutely.
It's apprehension about things that may or may not occur. So what we're going to talk tonight is a little bit about how perhaps develop some cognitive clarity. So that'll be the title to our episode this evening, is Cognitive Clarity. Our mind has what we would call cognitive velocity. Okay? That means racing towards some type of a conclusion, racing towards some type of an outcome. And that's what racing thoughts are. We call it cognitive velocity. You have a machine inside of your head that keeps these thoughts going at these speeds that approach warp speed. Okay? So the deal is our mind cannot deal with silence. How about yours, Mike?
Silence is definitely an issue. It can't go to sleep to silence. Bringing in my ears doesn't help either, but I always have to have something going on to distract my brain from that race that's happening.
Well, our mind cannot deal with the silence of no thoughts. Okay? So what we want to do, what our mind does, it fills our thoughts with opinions.
It fills the blanks, right?
Opinions fill the blanks. Okay? So what we do is we train our mind to participate in narratives. Our mind is like a book that never ends. We're constantly editing it and adding new chapters to it. Okay? So what we do is we rewrite life as drama. Have you ever been to just a situation in your life and your mind rewrites it as drama?
How do you mean? I don't know if I'm tracking you on that.
Well, when we see something and our mind wants to add drama to it, to events, people, places, things, circumstances, events.
Is this like how if I encounter somebody on the road, I create an entire narrative that person is a complete a-hole and that kind of thing, whereas it's just somebody that may have just been slightly inattentive?
Because we really don't know. And again, your mind is being filled with opinions. Okay, so what we want to do is help people regain what we would call emotional sovereignty. Mm-hmm. Sovereignty over your thoughts. Now, when we're talking about these anxious thoughts, what we're talking about is they're based on fear. And we've talked about how the amygdala, and there's two of them. Amygdala is the Greek word for almond. There's two of them. And if you want to find out where your amygdalas are, it's at the intersection of these two lines, right through your eye and right through your ear. There's a right one and a left one. And the amygdala is where your flight, or freeze thoughts come out of. It holds some of our deepest emotions and our deepest memories, mainly based on fear. So when we're dealing with anxiety, a lot of times we're dealing with amygdala-based fear responses, okay? Either from memories in the past or from past experience, or apprehension, again, about what may or may not occur, or catastrophic thinking. So our suggestion here is to externalize those thoughts, Mike. Externalizing them means we get them out of your mind, maybe out on a whiteboard, write them out on a piece of paper, and then so we can look at them rather than from them. So what we want to do is shift our thoughts from this amygdala fear-based thoughts to our prefrontal cortex, where our logical mind lives, where we can see things with clarity.
This sounds familiar to an early mind hack, productivity hack that I learned on, was talking about, and I can't remember the book I read where this came from, talking about getting those things out of your head and into a bucket, and this is about like, hey, I'm thinking about this project and this and this and this, and you want to organize. Like I think about switching the laundry when I get home. And to me, that's where like you take that out of your head and putting on a note or a reminder or something like that. So it's no longer in your head to worry about what am I going to do when this, and this happens, right? You have that out of your head and on an external thing. So now it's not running over and over in your head. Is this kind of a similar concept?
Well, yes. Yes, it is. When we talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, we're talking about examining thoughts for faulty thoughts. Because every thought that we have cannot possibly be true. Because we have thousands of them, maybe even a minute.
And sometimes you go down a certain rabbit hole.
That's correct. We've discussed rabbit holes in the past, as in some of our early episodes, we spoke extensively about Alice in Wonderland and how to live in that world. But our minds cannot stand silence. Our minds have to fill up the space with thoughts and words. It's like when you ever hear people talk, they're nervous and they just have to talk. They can't stand silence. They feel that we have to fill the space.
Some people walk into the room and they have to be the loudest person, like kind of that.
Yes. So, Mike, we live in a world full of other people's expectations. And one of the premises to this show is that we help people live a life without definitive expectations. Okay. And when we're trying to live up to others' expectations, we're constantly trying to think of whether what we're thinking and what we're going to do is going to be validated by someone else. So there's no joy in that. So when we seek to be validated by other people, okay, what we do is we give up our joy and we give up our choices. Do I look good? Does this outfit look good on me? Was I stupid? Did I say something that made people think that I'm weird? How many times have you ever thought that in your life that you didn't want to say anything because you didn't want to appear weird?
I mean, that's most of the basis of my social anxiety. So let's be honest. Yeah.
Okay. So wouldn't that be a wonderful thing if we walked into a room and were comfortable with our own silence? The own silence in our minds, because what people do is they want to dress. Have you ever heard the phrase dress to impress? Speak to impress? Who do you really have to impress?
Right.
Yourself. Right. Inventorying your gifts, talents, and abilities. Speaking from confidence. And this may sound like an arrogant thought, but when somebody's just going on and talking about themselves and how wonderful they are, they're looking for validation. They're looking for admiration from others. Only weak people need validation. Only weak people seek praise.
Right.
Only the weak, because they have such low egos. They're egomaniacs with inferiority complexes. Okay. So what we want to do is help people, and we can look at them, and in your own mind, it's not being mean to say, I really don't care what you think, do, or say. I hope you're enjoying the show. Just a moment to discuss some things that we have behind the scenes here at Fishing Without Bait. We're preparing Patreon content on maybe some deeper dives into some situations in life that you may find helpful or even amusing. So perhaps you could go through some of the past podcasts and find out whether you would like to see someone again on a Patreon, or whether you a subject that you would like to dive deeper into. Maybe you'd like to add some personal questions of me or Mike and find out what our thoughts are about situations. There's definitely some situations out there that we want to explore more. Some of the topics that Mike and I have been talking about was the absurdity of the prosperity gospels and some of the justifications that people use for their actions based on faith. Some of those things like that. So we're open to any ideas, and we're preparing those Patreon thoughts right now. Now, back to the show. Have you ever thought about that? Looking at someone when they're pontificating or going on and on, or they're trying to impress you with some type of technical knowledge, or some type of Dunderkruger type of psychological ploy that they actually believe that they know more than they do?
Usually I recognize that and kind of in the moment figure correcting them will be more trouble than it's worth. So I just kind of let them go until it's going to be a problem. And usually, hopefully, they're not directly involved in what I'm doing.
Well, if somebody is like that with you, the general suggestion is to drop something on the floor. And when you bend over to pick it up, they're going to stop talking. Okay. And then you can start and say to them, wow, it sounds like you have a whole lot more to talk about. Perhaps we can catch up on that sometime. And you turn and you walk away. But our mind wants to stay there because we think that we don't want to offend anybody.
I don't want to be rude, right? So, yeah, no. And a lot of times if I'm catching that kind of vibe from somebody, it's like, man, they really need to talk to me right now. You know what I mean? Like, internally, they really need to talk to somebody right now. So I feel like I want to lend that ear to a certain extent. Well, as long as they're not being overbearing with it.
What we want to do is help people learn how to listen to learn. However, most people listen to respond. And when somebody's just all talking about themselves, and it's look at me, look what I've done, and they're name dropping, we call it the I test. How many times can you say I in a conversation about yourself? So when somebody has that I test going, then it's okay to drop something on the floor, or to cough loudly, or to step away, because you're wasting your time. And is it being rude on your part, or is it being rude on the other person's part, trying to put the template of their life on yours?
And trying to monopolize your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've talked about time thieves before. We've talked about emotional vampires before. Don't let your mind become that emotional vampire. The only power that any person placed in a situation has is the power you give it. The power you give it. And we go back to that powerful word again. I choose. I choose. When you replace the have to, need to, must not, better with I choose, it empowers you and it changes your world. And once again, we'll talk about my tattoo called Abracadabra. Do you remember what that means, Mike?
I remember that it's Aramaic, and it was like I create something, right?
Yes. So you have been listening to learn, Mike.
Yes.
So it's a real word. It comes from the Bible's Jesus time. It's Aramaic, and it translates into I speak what I create what I speak, which 80% of cognitive behavioral therapy is changing the language, the thoughts on how you speak to yourself. The cool kids, of us spoken in the past, call it manifestation or vision boarding, but it's been around since the pharaohs. So I hear all these repackaged buzzwords, but however, you have control over your thoughts. You have control over your mind. Do not let other people control your thoughts and your minds on what you think they want you to think, because we live in a world where we're supposed to live up to others' expectations. We're supposed to have the proper clothes. We're supposed to have the proper scent. We're supposed to have the proper thought. Okay? Where's individuality gone? Every one of your thoughts is individual. You're the only one that can hear them. So, do you think you might want to make your mind your ally and not your enemy? Do you think you might want to create some cognitive clarity, regain some emotional sovereignty over your life, maybe put some control, some dampers on your central nervous system? Learn how to deal with this overstimulated amygdala that you have going on, and learn how to think, like the Buddha says, have right thought, thinking about doing the next right thing. And remember, everyone out there, you're important. Everyone out there is important. Your thoughts and feelings are more important than anyone else's. And what is good for you is good for everyone. So if anyone has any thoughts concerning what we talked about tonight, regaining some cognitive clarity in your life, regaining some emotional sovereignty over your life, please contact the show. Please comment. We'd love to hear from you. And we answer every comment. We answer everyone. At the end of every podcast, we have a free prescription. Fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for yourself. Do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive another. If we're all not the divine's children, then none of us are. Our hearts ache every single day for the people who have been hurt in this world. We talked before about Charlie Kirk and his widow and his children. Our heart goes out to them. Our heart also goes out to the parents who will never be able to hug their children again. Our hearts go out to the innocents that are being slaughtered in Gaza every day. Please do the next right thing. Stop the slaughter in Gaza. Thank you.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.